Imagine this. It's late at night and you're finally drifting off to sleep. The soft glow of a bedside lamp casts a warm light in the room. Everything is peaceful, calm, and safe. Or so you think. Suddenly, you feel something warm and soft press against your side. You turn slowly, and there he is. Bronx, your loyal German Shepherd, with his big brown eyes gazing at you like you're the only person in the world. He's climbed into bed without you noticing. You smile, thinking, what harm could it do? After all, it's just a dog, right? He's family. But sometimes, even the most innocent moments hide unseen dangers. Carolina had no idea that this simple, sweet moment would mark the beginning of a nightmare that would put her life and the life of her beloved dog at risk. Carolina had always loved dogs. When she met Bronx, a gentle German Shepherd with big brown eyes, at a local shelter, she felt an instant connection. His gaze was filled with trust, and she knew he was meant to be part of her family. A few signatures later, she was driving him home to her new apartment, her heart filled with excitement. At first, Bronx was nervous. Every creak in the apartment made him jump, and he stayed close to Carolina, his eyes scanning the room like he was on patrol. But after a few days, his playful side came out. He chased his tail, barked at the TV, and ran around the apartment like he had lived there forever. Their nightly routine was simple. Carolina would give Bronx a pat on the head, point to the fluffy rug next to the bed and say, "That's your spot, boy." Bronx obeyed at first. But one night she woke up to find him curled up on the bed, his head resting on her leg. She laughed. "All right, you win this time," she muttered, pulling the blanket over them both. What started as a one-time event became a nightly habit. Bronx would wait for her to fall asleep, then sneak into the bed. At first it was adorable. It was nice to feel his warmth next to her on cold nights. But slowly, things began to change. Carolina started feeling more and more exhausted. Every morning it was harder to get out of bed. At first, she blamed work stress. "It's just burnout," she told herself. But it wasn't just fatigue. It felt like her whole body was moving through quicksand. Her mornings, once full of energy, were now slow and heavy. She struggled to stay awake, yawned at her desk, and even started missing deadlines. Meanwhile, Bronx's playful energy began to fade too. He moved slower, his steps uneven. When he lay down, he pulled his hind legs in close to his body, like he was in pain. Carolina promised herself she'd take him to the vet, but she was too drained to make the trip. After weeks of feeling like a zombie, Carolina finally went to the doctor. She described her symptoms: exhaustion, weakness, and constant fatigue. The doctor ran tests, but every result came back normal. "Are you sure you're not just overworked?" the doctor asked. Carolina shook her head. "No, this is different," she said. "I feel like I'm being drained." She casually mentioned Bronx. "I sleep with my dog every night. Do you think that has anything to do with it?" The doctor raised an eyebrow. "It's possible," he said. "You know, people can develop allergies at any point in their life. You might have developed an allergy to dog hair." Carolina was shocked. "But I've had dogs my whole life." "Sometimes it just happens," the doctor explained. "Take these antihistamines and try to keep Bronx off the bed for a while." For a few days the plan worked. Carolina felt better. She had more energy, and Bronx obeyed her new rule. But the relief didn't last. Bronx, stubborn as ever, returned to the bed one night. The next morning, Carolina's exhaustion was back. Bronx's health was declining rapidly. He walked with a limp, his back legs stiff. Carolina called a friend who was a veterinarian, and after hearing her description, the vet said, "Bring him in now." At the clinic, the vet ran every test imaginable. Carolina waited anxiously for the results. A few days later, the phone rang. "Carolina, we need to talk," said the vet. There was a pause, a long, unsettling pause. "What is it?" she asked, her heart pounding. "Bronx has brucellosis," the vet said slowly. The words felt heavy. "Bruce, what?" she asked, confused. Brucellosis. It's a bacterial infection and it's zoonotic. It can spread from dogs to humans. Her breath caught in her throat. Her mind flashed back to all those nights she shared the bed with Bronx, his head resting on her chest. "Is it dangerous?" she asked, her voice shaking. "It can be," the vet admitted. "In dogs it causes infertility and joint pain. In humans, it can cause meningitis, brain swelling, and even heart infections. We need to start treatment right away." The vet prescribed antibiotics for both Carolina and Bronx. For weeks, they fought the infection together. She took her pills with breakfast. Bronx took his with dog treats. Slowly, they both got better. Follow-up tests confirmed that the disease had been wiped from both their systems. Carolina sighed with relief. On the drive home, Bronx sat in the passenger seat with his head out the window, his tongue flapping in the breeze. Carolina laughed, finally free of the exhaustion that had consumed her. That night, Carolina sat on the edge of her bed. Bronx lay on the rug by the door, wagging his tail slowly. He watched her with big brown eyes. "Come here, boy," she said softly. His ears perked up. Slowly, he stood and walked to the bed, stopping at the edge like he was waiting for permission. Carolina lifted the blanket. Bronx jumped up, curled into a ball, and rested his head on her lap. She ran her fingers through his fur. "Welcome back," she whispered, resting her head on his. She felt his warmth. She heard his breathing, calm and steady. It was the sound of peace. They had fought together and they had won. This time, he was here to stay. Sometimes, the things that bring us the most joy also come with unexpected challenges. Love is never without risk. But love is also what makes us stronger. Carolina's story is a reminder that pets are more than companions. They're family. But family comes with responsibility. Pets can bring joy, but they can also bring unexpected challenges. Would you have let your dog sleep with you after discovering this disease? Have you ever experienced something like this? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.